Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer.
But who is he?
Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer.
And who is he?
Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer.
And what he do?
And it's gonna react to all the self-snitching.
Hi, this is Bruce Rivers. Welcome to another fun-filled episode of Criminal Lawyer Reacts. I'm Bruce Rivers, board-certified criminal lawyer. And what does that mean that I'm board-certified? That means I've got a shit ton of trial experience and that I know what I'm talking about. And when I talk about these cases, I'm talking about it from knowing and being in the courtroom and seeing winning cases and losing cases. I've tried to win more than I lose, but I have won a lot of cases, and I've tried a lot of cases over the 25 years of experience. So that's what it means to be board certified, tried, true, and tested. But before we get into Mr. Tate, because Mr. Tate was in court yesterday, we are sponsored by eForms.com. That's eForms.com. Let's say Andrew Tate, he's got some women in your basement and he's down there and doing all kinds of stuff that's illegal, and you need to get him the out of there. What do? You go to eForms.com. You get an eviction notice. You get the cops and the sheriff to get him the hell out of there. Because you don't want Andrew Tate in your basement, do you? Because guess what? Your grandma's down there and you don't want her having an OnlyFans page with Andrew Tate. So you get him out of there so your grandma's not subject to such treatment by Andrew Tate. You go to eForms.com. They've got the forms right there. Doesn't matter what state you're in. Go to eForms.com and they will take care of you. Okay, so this is an update on Mr. Andrew Tate. Mr. Tate was in court yesterday. He is being detained for at least another 30 days. His lawyer, Mr. Vladniak, really solid lawyer, by the way, he has said they're going to appeal. This is also the same guy that said he wasn't arrested. When you're like this and you're with the back of a fucking squad car, that means you're arrested. And he was arrested. And he's in custody. And now here's the thing. The laws in Romania are not like they are here. They're getting better. And in fact, there's a whole international coalition about sex trafficking and trying to get everybody on the same page. The guidelines here, the federal guidelines here on sex trafficking in the United States is absolutely through the roof. I think they start out at a 27 and they have all these enhancements, but they're just through the roof. You could be looking at 30 years so easily. He is not looking at that much time in Romania. He is looking at 3 to 10 years in Romania. That's just on the sex trafficking charges, okay? There's two other charges. There's a rape charge and there's also a criminal organization charge. So they've arrested 4 people. Andrew Tate's going to be there for the next 30 days. I don't think there's any reason for an appeals court to overturn that. But he's got Vladniak, and that's the lawyer that, remember we did that little video about who he wants for a fucking lawyer?
I walked in there and said, listen, I've committed multiple felonies.
I would never want this guy for a client. Get the fuck out of my office. You know, you want to know what the reality is, and you tell them the truth. You don't tell them what they want to hear. And he just wants to hear what he wants to hear.
Am I gonna go to jail? Well, probably. Well, then see ya! Bye!
You want me to lie to you? Oh, no, I can win that case hands down. I committed multiple felonies. Did ya? Are you gonna be sitting in jail? Yes. Bye! That's what he said. That's what he fucking said. But what does that mean? He is in jail. I mean, is he looking for a new lawyer? Because his lawyer didn't win the bail argument, did he? And let me tell you something about that aspect of things. When you got a guy like Andrew Tate, he's probably like a caged animal right now, just going absolutely batshit crazy. And he's probably he's blowing up his lawyer's phone like nobody's business. I wouldn't be surprised if we see another lawyer on this case in short order, because he's not going to stand for sitting in jail. He's thinking there's something, I'm bigger than anything that ever has been, so that nobody can. No, you're just like the rest of us. You put your pants on one leg at a time. So let's first take a look from his own words, what he says as he started this business to create all this wealth for himself. He appeared on Fresh and Fit. Actually, the guy Myron, we bantered back and forth, and he's a former Homeland Security agent. These are his own words. Remember what I said before about your own words? Your own words, whether it's a song or whether it's this, an interview can bite you in the ass, and it can be used against you in a court of law. So let's see what he says.
Yeah. It wasn't nearly as big, and I found this little webcam thing, and I was like, this might be some money. So I text all my girlfriends, I think it was 5 of them, text all 5, said, you're all coming here to live with me and work with me.
Listen to the tone, first of all. You're all coming here to live and work with me. But he didn't text, he didn't say you're all. He texts each one of them individually.
Bro, Tristan will tell you the story. He'll tell you. All 5 flew in, picked them all up. They're all sitting there. I sat them around the same table. Listen, I need to get paid. Right? I'm broke now.
You're broke now? This is just at the beginning stages of what he was doing.
I have no money. I'm running out of money. So I put them all around the same table. And I was like, look, we're going to start a webcam business. You're going to stay. You're going to live in London. I'm going to look after you. And we're going to get rich. We're going to be a team. And they're all like, well, who's this bitch?
Now remember, he started out in London. And why did he go to Romania? Why did he go to Romania?
This bitch. I'm like, she's my girlfriend. She's my girlfriend. She's my girl. You're all my chicks. And you're going to stay here and we're going to make some money. Big fight kicks off, blah, 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 blah. 3 left, 2 stayed. Those are my first 2 girls. And we started this little webcam business from my apartment. And it just grew and grew and grew. And it got to the point where at one point I had 75 women working for me in 4 locations.
75 women in 4 locations.
And I was doing $600,000 a month. This is in the UK. But this leads into the story of why I moved to Romania. So at the height of my webcam pimping, I think I'm the king of the world, right? I have all these women, da-da-da. But the problem is, my first 2 girls who worked for me because they loved me. I love this man.
Ladies, any of you ladies that love this man, no.
Me from the ghetto streets to the hotel suites. So we're working together. But then once you get bigger, you start hiring girls who don't love you. They're in it for the money. And then I had one girl, and she got too drunk one day, and she threw up in my apartment. I told her to clean up. She refused to clean up, start being an idiot. So I took her stuff, threw out the window. You never hit a girl, right? Can't do that. But if all the other girls see me be disrespected, they're going to lose respect for me.
Facts.
Right?
Yep.
So when she's like, I ain't cleaning that up, you get that. So I was like, look, I don't care. And she was my biggest earning girl. She made me on her own maybe $25,000 a month.
Oh, shit.
So I didn't want to fire her. And she knew I didn't want to fire her, which is more reason why I had to fire her ass. So I was like, all right, cool. You want to be a gangster? Right, you're a gangster. Got her shit. We're like high up. We're like high up, like here. It was just out the window. So throws out the window. Got her by her 2 arms and marched her out the door, locked the door. End of it. She starts texting me, you owe me my last month's wages, you owe me my money, give me my money. Did I text her back? I ain't paying you nothing. You threw up my blah, 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 blah. She went to the police.
Oh, shit.
And told the police I hit her.
This is how it starts. This is how law enforcement involvement with him starts.
4 months later, 5 in the morning, 4 months later, I'm laying in bed. And I heard the door, boom, 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 boom. And I don't know how I knew. I just knew it was police. As soon as I heard that noise, I just paused for a second. I heard police, but I didn't know what it was for, right? But there's a few things I can't say in the podcast. I've lived a varied life.
Now, that is a form of self-snitching. That indicates that there's things out there that are illegal that he's done.
Right? I've done some things when I had to pay the bills.
Right.
So I was a bit like, what's this going to be? So I flush my phone down the toilet quickly. Boom.
So I destroy evidence. I flush my phone down the toilet.
I'm coming. So I'm trying to hide shit. I'm looking around like, what do I have to hide?
I'm hiding shit. I'm destroying evidence. One of the problems that you have with a guy like this is there's a treasure trove of statements that he makes that a prosecutor can use to impeach him with if he ever decides to testify. So that gives you a little bit of read on how he started his empire, for lack of a better word. He made his money on the backs of young women. He said 75 women in 4 locations. The other thing he told you is that he destroyed evidence. Not only that, he was concerned with how he would look in front of the other women in terms of control. Because I can't let her get over on me because then I won't have control over these other women. That's the theme you get from that interview. Okay, so we have basically the origin, the beginnings of his business dealings in this area. Now, let's see how he operates. By his own words. These are his own words.
Also, when you're real G's, that you're here, you're there, you're everywhere. You gotta go to Poland, you gotta go to Warsaw, fucking Dubai, Miami. Anyone who watches State Confidential knows I'm all over the place. So I end up with all these chicks just stuck in their house, sitting there, bored, completely in love with me. And of course, they don't go out. They're not allowed out.
So I got all these chicks. They're in love with me. They don't go out. They're not allowed out. So restricting somebody of their movement is part of force, fraud, or coercion. Because what happens if they go out?
Tate's away, so they go out with their friends. No. You don't go to the club with your friends. I don't know what kind of bitch-ass dude is letting his chicks go to the club with her friends without him. No. You stay in the house. You don't go nowhere. You're not, no restaurants, no clubs, nothing.
Do you get to eat? Do you get to take a shit? I mean, when you start controlling somebody like that, that is the crux of you come here on a promise of whatever, but when you get here, I control your every movement. That's coercion. That's absolute coercion.
I don't even have to fuck you. Forget the sex part. That's a distraction. My dick can stay in my pants. I'll just start beating the shit out of you. How about that? We walk in the bedroom. I start kicking your ass. No sex. No sex involved. But you cry then.
Here's a little move.
When I grab you by your neck and you start annoying me, trying to resist, and I just
Juxtaposed to that, what he said on Fresh and Fit, it just doesn't jive. That is who he's got to be in order to control these women, in order to keep the money coming in. Because he was broke before, right? Now he's making money off the backs of all these ladies, and they're brought to him because they're in love with him, and their movement is restricted, and according to him, they're beaten. That is slavery. That is sex slavery. That is exactly what sex trafficking statutes are designed to prevent. So that video and a couple articles have been posted by Tori Nix 2.0. We got to give her a shout out to her because it's a good synopsis of where we're at with Mr. Tate. There's an American woman who was lured to Romania because promising a love interest with Andrew Tate. And he lures her there through Facebook. And when she gets there, she realizes it's a total scam. Some of these women actually had tattoos on them saying, "Owned by Tate. I belong to Tate," tattooed on their arms. Now, Mr. Tate is just at the very infant stages of this whole case, because Romania is one of the countries that is part of this international compact on sex trafficking, and they're trying to increase their enforcement and get more in line with neighboring nations, the U.S. being one of them. Not a neighboring nation, but in this coalition. Mr. Tate is going to see that the Romanian authorities are going to cooperate with the U.S. Trafficking this young girl to Romania under false pretenses, and then not allowing her to leave, and then using her for sex acts online is sex trafficking, and it violates U.S. law. Violating U.S. law makes him subject to prosecution in the United States. I don't have any information to suggest that he has been charged or that he's even under investigation with the United States, but I wouldn't be surprised if the U.S. decides to prosecute Andrew Tate for sex trafficking as well. Now, Mr. Tate was born in Chicago. He is a U.S. citizen. He holds dual citizen in Great Britain and in the United States. Both he and his brother are. One of the issues that you're going to have in terms of detention for somebody that has multiple citizenship is whether they're a risk of flight or not. And now he's got means because he's got money. He's told you all about his Bugattis, his 33 vehicles and everything. Let's see what else he has to say about passports.
Same thing with passports, man. If I fuck up and England wants me in jail, I can fly on a Nigerian passport, or an American, or an English, or a Polish, or an Estonian. I have so many passports. What, are you going to block them all? They can't stop me traveling. There's always a passport I can pull out. There's always a driver's license I can pull out. If you ban one, I've got another one. I've got bank accounts.
He's got so much content that's out there that it just flouts any kind of respect for law enforcement or respect for any notion that he's not a flight risk. All I got to do is play that in front of a judge, if I'm a prosecutor, which I'm not. It just if I'm the defense lawyer, how do you combat that? See, the thing is, if the girls get there and they realize it's not a Shangri-La and that they're being mistreated, they're going to want to leave. But guess what? If you take their passports, they can't leave the country. And you now control them. So you're controlling them with physical violence. You're controlling them, their physical location, where they can go and what they can do. And you're controlling them by taking their passports. There's so much evidence that Mr. Tate is engaged in sex trafficking, or at least it seems to me. And it's really by his own admission. I mean, because one of his monikers, or one of his hallmarks of his personality, is the disrespect and the controlling of women. So for some reason, he thinks that's cool. And he thinks it's really cool to brag about how he can either beat the shit out of a woman or control their every movement, because they just love him or whatever. But all those statements that he's made on his own, there's just a treasure trove of information that he has put out there himself. Nobody else, these are his words. Trapping a girl in Romania by stealing their passports and forcing them to work for a webcam. That is sex trafficking 101. And with bringing a young girl from the United States to Romania, he's subjected himself to prosecution in Romania, in the United States. I don't know about Great Britain, but I'm sure that's something that's probably on the table as well. I represented a female that was charged with sex trafficking, along with 38 other. There was 38 women and one or maybe two guys that were charged in the case. It was like a 7-week trial, and we tried to claim agency. You know, a woman has her agency; she can do whatever she wants. And I've heard some comments in our last video about that oh, these women, you know, blah blah blah, blaming the women. A lot of these women, in fact, most of them, did not work in the sex industry before. They were lured there with visions of romance with Mr. Tate. And in fact, Mr. Tate was actually responsible for a lot of the content, the typing. So when you're thinking you're talking to this hot chicks, it was actually him. But they didn't have experience in this business. They're extremely vulnerable. They're in a country that they don't know anything about, don't have any resources. And here they are with no passport, no money, no way. And I mean, you heard him on Fresh and Fit was saying, I'm not going to fucking pay you. I mean, and guess what? Pissing her off cost him more money and trouble than it did to pay her. This has just been our reaction to the latest and the greatest on Andrew Tate. He is now detained. He ain't getting out for at least 30 days. And then he has been formally charged. We'll see what happens. And I don't really know the Romanian system. I know that he's looking between 3 to 10 years. In the United States, he'd be looking at, 10 to 30 years plus, depending upon the different enhancements. It's 18 U.S.C. 1591, and you can look it up yourself. It's 18 U.S.C. 1591, and limiting their movement. In that case that I tried, the prosecutor had probably the best line in the whole trial. She says, "You walk away from a job, you run away from slavery," and these girls couldn't even run away, and that's what he's looking at. So we'll continue to follow this and treat women with respect. I don't know how else to put it. Women deserve respect. Everybody deserves respect, but if you're a guy, don't idolize somebody like this who has nothing but contempt and just uses women for his own benefit. He didn't give any of those Bugattis to any of these women. So we'll see you next time here on Criminal Lawyer Reacts. I'm Bruce Rivers, board certified criminal defense lawyer. Make sure you subscribe, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter, sign up for Patreon, and we'll see you next time here on Criminal Lawyer Reacts.
Bruce Rivers just broke down your case. He know all the charges that you about to face. You ain't coming home till 2058. That self-snitching gon' get you put away. Bruce Rivers just broke down your case. He know all the charges that you about to face. You ain't coming home till 2058. That self-snitching gon' get you put away. 23-hour lockdown, please, is that my God?